Two old guys that ain't taking their crap no more. You're listening to Earl and George.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Earl and George, the only weekend wrap-up show that you actually need to listen to. We cover everything from politics to horse racing.
What?
With very little horse racing. My name is George.
And I'm Earl.
Mr. Producer, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Good. He's good. He's not laid up, hungover, and drunk and stuff. We want to
I'm not.
welcome in all of the people listening across the United States, Spreaker, listening on all of our great affiliates, listening on iTunes and our Earl and George mobile app, and Earl, there's stuff that I don't even know.
Google Play, all that good stuff.
There's stuff
Tune
everywhere.
in.
Listening to us all over the United States. Thank you so much. We were going to have Will Ainsworth. Notice I said Will. We were Will. He has not responded to me at all. Apparently listened to last week's show.
He ducked out.
He just I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I can say it.
Just saying that I've tried to get in contact with him multiple times. We were good for last week. He said he'd be on this week, and now when I contact him, all I get is crickets. So, coming up on today's show,
He ducked out.
he did. He ducked out on us, which is fine. I mean, he's a politician. He's got to protect his politicking, right? But we were going to have him on because we were going to talk about also Representative Mary Moore, Democrat from Jefferson County, from Birmingham, Alabama. She has introduced a bill in the Alabama legislature to ban all semi-automatic firearms, all of them, across the board, handguns, pistols, rifles, whatever you want to call them, anything that is semi-automatic. Now,
similar to what the Democrats did up in D.C.
That's right. We're going to go around the country and see what people are doing in idiotic legislatures around the country. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Georgia teacher who fired off a round in his empty classroom the other day and apparently barricaded himself inside. Look, this guy had all kinds of problems. This is the guy that had all kinds of issues. He had a revolver, of all things, right? Everybody's
so
like,
it's not semi-automatic.
oh no, it was an assault revolver.
Wow.
Also coming up on today's show, again, we cover all topics, so we are going to do a public service announcement for Judge Roy Moore, who needs your money, everybody.
He's still begging?
He's still begging.
Oh, wow.
He's out there. And then, of course, the Trump tariffs happened this week, so we'll talk about them as well. Now, first thing I want to cover is I've got a whole stack. By the way, today's show is not only going to cover Alabama, okay? We're going to go around the country. We're going to see the states that are talking about these new red flag laws. We're going to talk about gun bans. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. But we're actually going to break down the difference between a semi-automatic rifle, a bump stock equipped rifle, specifically an AR-15, and a fully automatic rifle. Now, notice the only one I mentioned was an AR-15 because the bump stock only fits on certain AR-15s. The fully automatic is not an AR-15. Just so you know, the person in the video that we are going to talk about today, this is CNN. They did a video. We'll talk about it a little bit later, is a general in the Army, okay? They brought in a general because that lends them credibility.
Why'd you do the air quotes?
Well, it bothers me because what he said is idiotic.
Yeah.
A general in the okay. Now, if we want to bounce credibility off each other, we can't. I can line up a bunch of Green Berets out the door that will corroborate what I'm about to say, that the general that was on CNN this past week is a moron. When he says the dumbest things. We'll talk about that when we get to that part of the show. We are also going to play actual sound effects for you. So don't freak out when you're listening to today's show.
Trigger warning.
And you hear gunfire, okay? It's coming from the radio. And I just have to give this disclaimer. People in Houston who are used to hearing gunfire on a daily basis, don't freak out, okay?
The studio's not getting shot up.
Those of you in Oakland and San Francisco and New York,
Chicago.
I know you're going to just fluff it off. You're like, oh, more gunfire, right? Okay, don't, just coming from the radio, just disclaimer. Now that I've said that, I'm going to start the show today with this. We in America are pretty dang tolerant, don't you think?
We used to be.
I mean, we used to be. We used to be pretty tolerant. However, we don't seem to be very tolerant of things that make sense to us these days.
Right.
Common sense doesn't seem to make sense to us. Now, we're tolerant. We're tolerant of all kinds of things. We're tolerant mostly of people's religion. We're tolerant mostly of people's race. We're tolerant mostly of people's lifestyles. And they force us to be tolerant, don't they? Through legislation, and you got to bake a cake for this person.
Unless you're Christian, straight,
Right.
and white.
Exactly.
male.
So I found this interesting correlation about the whole Dick's Sporting Good thing.
Oh, wow.
And this isn't actually a gun story. I'm kind of rambling here at the beginning of the show. But somebody had posted on social media about how conservatives and gun nuts are now out here screaming about Dick's Sporting Goods and how we're going to boycott Dick's Sporting Goods. Now, I can't speak for Earl, but I've never advocated boycotting Dick's Sporting Goods. If they want to stop selling rifles, I could care less. It affects me not.
Yeah, let the market take care of it.
Yeah. Plus, it supports local gun stores. I really don't care if Dick's Sporting Goods across the country does that. I don't care if Walmart does it. I really don't care. That's their policy. They have their, I can't walk in there with bare feet either. Okay.
Right.
I really don't care. It doesn't affect me. But if you're just dead set on buying your next Bushmaster from Dick's Sporting Goods, you just go to your local gun store, support your local community. But interestingly enough, liberals are now attacking conservatives and saying that, well, all Dick's Sporting Goods did was exercise their First Amendment rights.
Right.
They're doing what they think is right. Oh, well, where was that attitude when your gay friends are suing Christian bakers and when Chick-fil-A decides that they want to be closed on Sundays and Hobby Lobby doesn't want to support your 16th abortion? I mean,
Or contraceptives.
where was that? Like, where was that attitude?
Mhm.
Back when we were like, wait a minute, guys, these guys have the right to do that. Just like Dick's Sporting Goods has the right to stop selling guns. Where was that? Where was that? Second thing is this. It's amazing to me how the left cares so much about bullying, but it's their favorite tactic when
Yep.
when they're faced with somebody who disagrees with them.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only person in America that I was sitting in my office this morning show prepping, and I thought, man, I'm getting just attacked left and right.
No, it's not you. It's
I'm
not
sorry.
just you.
I'm just getting attacked left and bullied. We
Right.
get bullied. We get called names. We get called all kinds of stuff. It's really amazing. So we're a pretty tolerant country when it comes down to it. So listen to this story. Because I mean, when it comes to Islam, when it comes to things like that, that's a hands-off subject, right? We're not allowed to do that. And the reason that some of us are actually like, guys, we may just want to take a look at this quote-unquote religion of peace, just bear with me, because we're not throwing gays off roofs.
Right.
We're not drowning our enemies.
Or if we've studied
We're
history.
not setting anybody on fire. We don't run them over and crush people to death. I mean, these people come up with the most heinous ways of executing the people they're executing each other. If you're not Muslim enough for these people, they'll kill you. Here's what they do to Christians
Oh, wow.
for gambling.
Oh, wow.
Publicly whipped.
Mm.
Sharia law, 2 Christians were publicly whipped under Sharia law for gambling in Indonesia as the nation moves toward, quote, a politicized brand, end quote, of Islam. Hundreds of onlookers jeered at the two as the, quote, robed men wearing a mask and wielding a rattan cane hit them 6 times each. The punishment was carried out Tuesday on a stage near a mosque in the largest city in the province of one was a man and one was a woman.
Mm.
They were punished for playing a game at a children's entertainment complex that was similar to gambling.
Well, what was the game doing
They
there?
were playing a game at a children's entertainment complex, which is similar to gambling. So in a country that is run by the religion of peace, our friends in Islam, why would you have a game that looks like gambling at a children's complex?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say for kids.
Like, I don't understand that.
Me
That doesn't
neither.
make sense to me. And it goes on. Caning, quote, in a rare case of non-Muslims being punished under Sharia law, according to the Wall Street Journal.
A rare
Where
case.
have you been, Wall Street Journal?
A rare
Where have you
case.
been?
Wow.
A rare case? Really? Because I can find hundreds of cases where non-Muslims are punished under Sharia law. I don't know. Shall we find any one of the thousands of children sex slaves that are sold by Muslims pretty much every year? Where are you? Wall Street Journal?
Or were they speaking specifically about Indonesia or in general of Islam?
Nearly 90% of Indonesia is Muslim, although laws are in place to protect those practicing Christianity and other religions. Well, those laws did a great job, didn't they?
Wow.
In January, a Christian was sentenced to 36 lashes for selling alcohol. Let's see. Aceh is one of the provinces in Indonesia. Oh, it's the only province in Indonesia governed by Sharia law. Anybody been to parts of Detroit lately?
I haven't been there, but
I won't go there. Because there are places that are now very, very close to being run by Sharia law. Indonesia is long regarded as having most moderate form of Islam, but hardline Islamic groups are, quote, using the country's democratic system to promote an Islamic agenda, end quote.
No. It's almost like somebody prophesied this in their manifesto.
Huh.
It's like what's the name of them people? The Brotherhood, what do they call themselves over there by Jerusalem or by Israel?
You mean the Islamic Brotherhood? What is it in Egypt?
Yeah.
I was thinking Aryan Brotherhood. I was like, they're just as bad. There are hundreds of whippings a year in Indonesia. Muslim man gambling at the same complex was hit 19 times as punishment. Corporal punishment is torture under the United Nations Convention Against Torture, which Indonesia has ratified. And yet, nobody seems to care. You know what we care about? Bump stocks. We care about what bathroom you use, and our kids don't eat Tide Pods.
Well, we should care about that.
We do. We should care about all of that. But I mean,
not the bump stocks. Let it go.
I don't gamble.
I don't gamble either.
But I'll bet you something.
What's that?
Those Christians are leaving Indonesia. Is that too soon, Mr. Producer? No? Coming up next, Elton John gets mad.
Oh, that was hilarious.
And a cop smokes weed.
No.
That and more. It's Earl and George. We'll be right back. Lots of gun talk coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn earrings today.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Michaela's got like the best earrings.
Sarah, buckle up.
I wish my name was Michaela.
We're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
It can be tough getting through to kids, but it's your job to make sure they're wearing your seatbelts. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
You're listening to Earl and George, aged conservative talk. Doggone right.
Well, breaking news from the lawn of the White House. Apparently, shots have been fired. This is going on right now. Earl is following the story. Apparently, one of the Secret Service agents, apparently, we don't know any details at this point.
It just says that the man shot himself outside the White House. Trump is out of town.
Do we know where? He shot himself? No, not where Trump is. I care less where Trump is.
Like, in terms of...
Leg, head?
No, it doesn't say.
We don't know. Okay. So that's what's going on there. Interesting thing, though, you said about the White House during the break.
Yeah, one of these guys tweeted out, Jeff Bennett, I don't know who he is, but he said, "We're sheltering in place at the White House briefing room." I said, out of all of the buildings in this country, the White House is probably one of the most secure ones. So sheltering in place at the White House is just stupid, in my opinion. The only other one that I consider more secure would be the Pentagon.
Right.
So I find it crazy that somebody's actually thinking that somebody with a gun is going to get into the White House.
Yeah, but are the resource officers at the White House standing outside waiting for the shots to stop firing, or are the teachers armed at the White House?
Teachers are probably
the teachers are armed at the White House.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move into this guns. I got a lot of gun news. The rest of the hour is going to be gun stuff.
Woo!
By the way, can you real quick, again, I'm going to say the disclaimer over again. If you hear shots fired today, nothing, it's not a joke. It's coming from your radio, okay? Get ready for this. Ready? Full automatic, please, Mr. Producer. That's what it's going to sound like. Don't everybody freak out. Don't call 911 or anything on your radio. Don't just it's fine. That's a sound effect that we have pulled from a video. Did everybody live through that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm curious to know what
Mr.
it was.
Producer,
though.
are you?
I got a little bit of.
You got freaked out. You got triggered in there.
I got a little bit of scars that grazed me a little bit.
Okay.
Something moved inside me.
Something moved in you?
Yeah.
The chi moved.
Probably an alien. All right. I have so many gun stories. I don't even know where to start. But we are going to start with the president's comments about guns. Hang on. I got to find it first. Then we'll go over to W. Washington Schultz. Then we're going to go to Brittany Hughes and talk about her for 1 second. Okay, so if you would, Mr. Producer, get ready on cut 2. So the president came out last week and said something that has constitutional conservatives or Constitution lovers, I don't care if you're left, right, center on this one, up in arms. And it should. This is, in my opinion, one of the biggest foot-in-mouth moments of the Trump presidency. There have been a couple before, but this, I think, is the big one.
Just a couple.
Now, the thing is, I would like the president to continue tweeting where his idiotic comments are limited to 140 characters.
Right.
But in this case, he was talking to somebody who had introduced a bill, and he was talking about, it's only been, 16 days since the Parkland shooting.
Something like that.
All right? And everybody's still freaking out. Here's what the president said this week.
It doesn't make sense that I have to wait till I'm 21 to get a handgun, but I can get this weapon at 18. I don't know. So I was just curious as to what you did in your bill. You don't address
we didn't address it, Mr. President. Look, I think
you know why? Because you're afraid of the NRA, right? Take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system. Because a lot of times, by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process procedures.
That's a legal term there. That's a legal term. He used the actual legal term.
Right. Here's the deal. What he's actually talking about is probable cause. Now, as someone who's been pulled out of his car at gunpoint while armed by a police officer, they have to disarm you for their protection and yours.
I've never been pulled out at gunpoint. They just took my gun and told me not to move.
Yeah, that's fine. But, I mean, I've had the dude, right. There was, long story.
Overreach.
Long story. I mean, I've been pulled over many times carrying a concealed weapon. It's perfectly legal where we live, perfectly legal in the states I've traveled to. And yes, I was actually pulled out of a car at gunpoint. My father-in-law he's like, "Can I put my keys in my pocket?" And I'm like, "Stop." The dude's like, No, spread eagle, no. And he's like, "But my keys need to go in my pocket." And I'm like, "Dude, you're going to get shot in the head." Like, he's just going to shoot.
That would be me.
He's just going to shoot you just to get you to shut up. And I'm like, dude, he's going to get my father-in-law at the time. Okay. Probable cause, and for their own safety, they can disarm you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you have a problem with that, you shouldn't be carrying a firearm in the first place, because that makes common sense. For an officer who doesn't know you, pulled you over, gone into your house for domestic abuse, whatever the situation, if they feel that they need to disarm you for their own protection, whether it be a knife, a baseball bat, a gun, whatever, they can do it.
They tend not to do it for the knives and the baseball bats, though, unless you're actively swinging them.
Right.
But, like, if they show up to your house for domestic violence and you say, "Hey, I've got knives in the kitchen," they're not going to take them.
No, not like that.
Yeah, if they show up and you say, "I've got guns in the kitchen," then, yeah, they're taking your guns.
Right. They're going to take them for their own protection. It's fine. I've been disarmed many times. It's okay.
I don't agree with that one.
Now, most of the cops are like, "Okay, no problem. Don't drive so fast. Here's your kind of," and then they want to talk about talk about what it is and how cool a gun it is, and
last time you cleaned it,
we carry these and stuff like that, right? because most they're like that. But when he starts talking about take the guns, then go to get due process, he's actually talking about a criminal act. Okay, the government can't just confiscate your firearms, and you have to prove that you're not a criminal to get them back. That's the twist. And that's where he really screwed up and opened up his mouth and put his foot in that giant gaping hole. In fact, I think he got both of them in there. I put out a really funny picture about him breaking his foot off in his mouth.
And he won the bronze, the gold, and the silver.
The thing, but here's the bottom line, guys. The president can't make law. Okay, he can't. It takes literally an act of Congress. That's why it's called an act of Congress. And then he has to sign that act of Congress into law.
Well, isn't he signing a whatchamacallit to do the bump stock ban? Executive order?
I don't know that he can do that because the bump stock has been approved by the federal government.
The ATF, they got to change the language.
They have to change all of that. I don't know that he has the authority to do that.
He quoted some commerce law that gave him the authority to do it.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thin thing. I don't like executive actions, period.
I mean, if it takes a law to take away and give back a silencer, which is simply an add-on piece that you could put onto a firearm, I think it would take an act of a law to do the same thing. You can't just say, I'm the president, no more bump stock, signed Donald J. Trump. It just doesn't work that way.
He seems to think it does.
Well, he doesn't. That's not how it works. Now, what he can do is work with the Congress to increase the penalty for a violation, a violation of law, including a bump stock. Like, if I punched you, that's assault. If I pistol whipped you, that's assault with a deadly weapon.
Right.
There's a different statute there. That's perfectly okay. Or if I punched you while I was armed, I think it's actually still under assault while armed or assault with a deadly weapon. So something like that. But what Trump said was, I'm in favor of taking the guns first, then going out. What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just illegal ignorance.
Yep.
That's all that is. And you should, when you watch the video of that, the people in the room are like, Mike Pence is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, especially when he was combative with them when they were telling him things like Mike Pence said that people would be worried about their Second Amendment right. And he said, well, that's fine, but they don't need to worry about it. We need to do this now. We need to figure out how we can do this. And Mike Pence was trying to tell him, he's visually just, slicing his throat, like, just stop. And he just kept on and kept on. I was watching it in amazement going, did he really just say all this?
Right. But the nice thing is that's his opinion, and it doesn't carry any weight of law.
But it does get the Democrats on his side profoundly so.
For what? They're going to vote against him anyway.
They're gun grabbers, so they're going to do everything they can to, even though they didn't vote for it when they had the chance to get rid of bump stocks.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? The Democrats being gun grabbers. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any articles or any audio talking about that. And the thing is, if the left really are gun grabbers, and they say we don't want to take away your guns, we just want to make it hard for you to for these criminals to get them.
Yeah, because criminals are going by the law.
Right. Can you do me a favor, Mr. Producer? Can you cue up cut one for me? Democratic Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And by the way, you'd think that these people would be experts on firearms. Like they would know every single thing about a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think that?
Mm-hmm.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democratic representative from Florida, joined CNN on Thursday to talk gun control. And this is what she said.
What can be done? You said last week, and I'm quoting here, these kids may be ready to lead where politicians have failed to take action.
Stop.
Okay,
go ahead and stop it right there. Stop right there. And I'm going to pause you through, okay? So you know how to pause and, yeah, okay. So here's the deal.
Really? Really?
Just got to ask sometimes, man. I got to ask.
Wow.
Trust but verify. Okay. Trust but verify. Trust but verify. So you'd think these people were knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
You'd also think that because of this whole thing, these kids out there screaming, these 16, 17-year-old kids screaming about gun control, that they would be knowledgeable.
Well, I would give them a pass because they're mouthpieces. Right
well,
now.
I mean, I don't know. Former President Barack Obama tweeted to the young kids just the other day, young people have helped lead all our great movements. This is a quote. How inspiring to see it again in so many smart, fearless students standing up for their right to be safe, marching and organizing to remake the world as it should be. We've been waiting for you, and we've got your backs. Now, interesting that, hang on. Interesting he should say that when, let's see, in let me go back a little bit. Let's go all the way back to October 2017, when there was a student-led anti-abortion protest across the street from a school. And I'm going to quote some of the things that were said, that the staff and the students at the school saw graphic posters.
Oh, no.
They were passing out literature to some of the other high school students, and they were hurt by it. They said that the signs were very large, and it created a safety hazard.
Sure they did. Wow.
First and foremost, our concern is the safety of our students.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where was Obama tweeting there? Where was he supporting their First Amendment rights, and where were they leading, Mr. President? Where were they? Where were you on them? Oh, sorry, that's right. You were probably over here dealing with the high school in Pennsylvania, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, that had to be sued because it wouldn't let an anti-abortion group on its in the school, a student group that wanted to join. But the LGBTQ group and and all that, that's fine,
right?
But not these other folks. See, because when we talk about these kids that are, it's finally time for them to lead. You're the ones we've been waiting for. Really? Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
You're using them for political gain. Let's go back to the Debbie Wasserman Schultz thing.
To those students, we've been waiting for you. And yet we can't ignore the fact that Democrats had control of the White House and Congress in 2009 and
reporter.
2010, and this wasn't a priority. So why is the action coming now?
And
why is the push coming now?
Here's Schultz.
Well, it was a priority. We moved legislation in the House.
She just said to you, you had the White House, you had both houses of Congress, and you did nothing. Why was it not a priority? Well, it was. But we just couldn't get the votes in the Senate. You had the Senate. Go.
At that point, we were not able to get the 60 votes for those proposals in the Senate. But that's not an excuse. I mean, these issues, making sure that we can do something about eliminating military-style weapons.
Stop. Eliminating military-style weapons. Not. See, that's very. The language is so sadistic. Military-style weapons.
So they're going to ban them from the military too, then?
Well, no, these are not military weapons, but they'll say military-style weapons. So even though it looks like a military weapon, it does not function like a military weapon.
Yeah, that's their whole problem.
They keep saying stuff like that. If it looks like a duck, and it might not be a duck, it might be a swan. It's not a duck. We're going to ban that too.
Yeah,
because it looks like a duck.
The birds that we've got around here, I've been calling them ducks all this time. They're geese.
They're geese.
Yeah. They're North Canada, North America, some kind of geese. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that.
What about military-style clothing? What about military-style shoes? What about military-style hats? What about military-style haircuts, Mr. Producer?
Yeah, I'd be screwed.
So would Mr. Producer. Me, I'm the hippie of the group. Actually, I was going to get a haircut yesterday because I have a charity event today. What about military-style vehicles?
What would that be? Like a Hummer?
Like a Jeep? Like a Hummer?
Arnold
like whatever.
Be in trouble.
The problem is you can't say something is I'm going to ban this because it's military style. Because that doesn't mean it's military.
Well, what's so wrong with military style? Anyway?
Nothing. But that's what they do because most Americans don't pay attention. They will say this is a military style weapon. It's designed for killing. You know what? It is designed for killing, but not in the military style. Keep going.
Society, and only making sure that people who are in the military can utilize them rather than civilians.
Stop. You mean the 18-year-olds that can join the military, but you want to raise the civilian age to 21? Because 18-year-olds, they don't have the capacity to handle these kinds of weapons, do they?
Right.
Because so we've got to move them to 21. By the way, during the president's comments, he said, I don't understand on 21 and I can get this gun at 18. Well, the reason is because it's harder to conceal an AR-15 than it is a 9mm Glock. That's the reason they made it 21. It's really that simple. Are you that stupid that you could be the president of the United States and not even know? These politicians, guys, they don't know. Keep going.
And making sure that we don't have high-capacity, rapid-fire magazines
Stop!
that allow...
Who gets to determine several things? First of all, the obvious. The magazine doesn't determine that it's rapid fire.
Right.
The magazine simply holds the gun,
sure it's
holds
got
the
something
bullets.
to do with the barrel and the trigger and the mechanism.
No, it's not even the barrel of the trigger. It's the trigger system, the sear pin with inside the mechanism of the trigger. It's not the barrel. Nothing. But they are playing on your ignorance, America.
The barrel has to be heat resistant to a degree to be rapid fire.
Somewhat. You can do a bull barrel. You can do all kinds of stuff. The barrel doesn't make it rapid fire or not.
No, it doesn't make it rapid fire, but it helps.
But that's what they do. I would say I would agree with you. It helps.
Right.
Sure. But the thing is, the reason they use this kind of language, high capacity, oh, man.
Because it makes people that don't know any better go,
high capacity. You mean like a larger gas tank in a bigger car?
Right.
Man, high capacity gas tank you got. Whoa. Man, that's scary. I mean, I've got a 20-ounce coffee cup. He's only got a 12-ounce coffee cup. I got a high-capacity coffee cup. See how stupid it sounds when I say like that?
Well,
the capacity of the magazine means nothing. Go over and play upper right-hand corner soundbite number 6, I think. The upper right-hand corner. Oh, you can't. We got to finish this one. Go. Go with
mass killings, and that whose primary purpose is only to achieve that. That's going to solve this problem. And
Stop. Okay. And so she's like, these high-capacity, rapid-fire magazines that are designed for mass killing. No, they're designed to hold bullets. They're not designed for mass killings. No more than my coffee cup at 20 ounces is designed to give me more coffee. And his is designed for, it's the same thing. Mine's not designed to give me diabetes because I drink more coffee. That's the stupid analysis.
Wow.
Play here. Okay. Rapid fire magazine. Go. Man, that is 50 rounds. I'm not going to tell you what kind of weapon it is yet. I will after the break. 50 rounds.
Wow.
That's 50 rounds in like so many seconds.
That's impressive.
That's a fully automatic firearm. I'll tell you in a second because you're going to be amazed when it comes back. But you know something? The magazine is irrelevant. High capacity, rapid fire. They use those types of language in America. They use those words because you don't know.
How is it full auto?
Illegally, by the way. We'll come back.
See,
it's Earl and George. More gun talk. We're going to actually try to educate you. Unlike CNN and the idiotic general they had on when we come back. It's Earl and George. We'll be right back.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Mama always said that if you keep playing with it, it'll fall off. You're listening to Earl and George.
Welcome back to Earl and George. Hey, if you like the show, send us $20. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, somebody's got to pay Mr. Producer for his time. Go out to our Facebook page, Earl and George. Go to earlandgeorge.com. There's some stuff to buy. Hopefully you don't buy stuff from them because I don't have anything in stock. So I'll be refunding your money. No, but go out there, like the page, share it with all your friends. We are a growing show. Welcome all of our affiliates across the country. Last week we added Houston, Texas, Cypress, Texas. That's my Texas accent. Am I offending Texas? Hell no.
I think you're offending some Southerners, period.
So Debbie Wasserman Schultz was on CNN, talked like an idiot, talking about rapid-fire magazines. And doesn't it infuriate you that someone who doesn't know what they're talking about is the person that's out there trying to take it away from you?
Yeah, like for teenagers.
Yeah,
from the school.
Right, like teenagers. I didn't listen to them when they were talking about other stuff. Why am I going to listen to them now? You know, you don't take them seriously because they eat Tide Pods, don't know what bathroom to go in, do stupid stuff. Because guess what? We were all teenagers. I was an idiot.
And they can't even conversate without their phone now.
I believe the word is converse.
Wow.
Is conversate a word?
I think so.
Hey, I'm going to look that one up. So I'm trying to find, where's that other one I had? Hang on. Oh, here it is, cut 5. Okay. So this is CNN. This, again, CNN. They wanted to talk about how dangerous and deadly and the difference between the AR-15 with a bump stock, and apparently something called the fully automatic AR-15. And they had an expert witness. He's a general.
Oh, wow.
Here's CNN to educate you, America.
This is what an AR-15 sounds like.
Stop. That is exactly what an AR-15 sounds like, inside of an indoor range. Now, it sounds exactly the same on a battlefield. I would know. I don't know that the general they're about to introduce actually does.
General Mark Hertling served in the U.S. Army for 37 years.
Now, he served in the Army for 37 years. General Mark Hertling, somebody, okay? Now, he could have never been deployed. He could have sat behind a desk from getting out of college as a second lieutenant all the way to being a general. He could have been in command. He probably just wore a sidearm most of the time because that's what officers do. We go to the range, they do some familiarization. Who is he?
He's got a Distinguished Service Medal.
Good. That doesn't mean anything to me.
A Superior Service Medal.
Everybody gets that.
And a Legion of Merit, and that's it.
Legion of Merit. Mm-hmm. So, Legion of Merit is great. That means he served for a long time. Does it say anything about his combat experience?
No.
Okay, so once a year, potentially, this guy went to the range, picked up a rifle, bang, 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 put it down, went back to his desk. Okay? Here's what the general says.
So he knows what the AR-15, which used to be a weapon of war, can do.
Stop.
Really?
The AR-15 has never been a weapon of war. Ever.
Wow.
Ever.
But was that CNN saying it,
yes.
or were they quoting? Okay,
that was him. That was CNN. That was CNN saying
that
the
it was a weapon of war.
AR-15 used to be a weapon of war. No, the M16 is a weapon of war. Always has been. Probably always will be because I don't think we've come up with anything better.
The AK too, right?
AK-47, AK-74. Pick your AKs. I don't care. In the military, I carried an M4. I'm not a general. Okay. I carried a fully automatic weapon, M4. Before that, we carried A3s, which were 3-round burst. They didn't do full auto because of the stupid barrels, right? We have that discussion earlier.
Most of the stuff that I see about him is just being a commander.
Oh yeah, commander.
Commander.
Go with the audio.
And he has strong feelings about the semi-automatic assault style rifle.
Stop. There it is again. Assault style. What does that mean? What does that even mean, America? What is that? Like, if I hit you with a hammer, is that an assault-style hammer? They're playing on your ignorance. Come on, America, educate yourself.
I thought assault was a verb, not a noun.
What is this assault thing? It's commonly known as assault rifle. Okay, well, they're all assault rifles then.
Yeah, I've got a few assault pistols. I got an assault hammer, too, and a rock, because that's what they used in the first murder ever recorded.
Go.
Which is the precursor to a weapon currently used by the military.
Stop. No.
They're saying the AR-15 was a precursor to a weapon that's currently being used?
That is 100% false.
Wow.
Absolute falsity. The M16 was developed by the Colt Company for use in the military.
Right.
After that, It was developed into a single semi-automatic, pull the trigger, one bullet. Okay, that's what I'm saying. A single fire version for the civilian use. It wasn't the other way around. It wasn't the other way around. I think it was 1950, early 50s. Look it up. Look it up. The M16A1. I believe it was in the 50s. The gas-fed. When they finally figured out the gas tube thing, and the military was like, yes, that's what we want. Before that, we had Mini 14s and all kinds of stuff. Go.
M4.
The truth of the matter is, they look almost exactly the same.
Stop. Now, he said the truth of the matter, okay, which gives this general credibility. The truth of the matter is they look exactly the same. And yes, they do, with about 50 million modifications available to each of them.
64.
1964. But the way they look is irrelevant. The way they look is irrelevant. Because you can get a 30-round magazine on a piece of wood with a barrel sticking out of it. The way the weapon looks is irrelevant. And by the way, before you start going off on the assault weapons ban of the 90s and how the assault weapons, air fingers quote, were banned, okay, that's all bullcrap. They played on your ignorance. If you're actually a gun aficionado, a firearms person, you'll know that the assault weapons ban didn't actually ban assault weapons.
Yeah.
It banned the way they look.
Right.
You can't have these two modifications. You can't have a pistol grip and a flash suppressor at the same time. You can have one or the other, but you can't have both.
That's why it was repealed.
It did nothing with the actual mechanism of the firearm. It still fired one round every time you pulled the trigger. Bang, 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 bang. Keep going.
So this is the M4 military rifle.
Right.
They're pointing at these things.
This is the AR-15.
And yes, they look just
a
like
lot of people will buy this just because it's cool and they want to appear like soldiers.
Stop.
If you're
Does that mean when I bought my 30-06, I wanted to because it was cool and I wanted to appear like a hunter? Does that mean when I bought my shotgun that it was cool and I wanted to appear like a person who shoots shotguns?
Well, I bought my 45 because Dirty Harry had one.
Yeah, I mean, is that what's going on? You know, I bought my AR-15 because I want to be cool and look like a person in the military because I actually was a person in the military. No. That's his opinion, and it's bullcrap.
They've actually changed part of the definition of the M16. They say that it was a military adaptation of the AR-15.
When?
That's what it says. It's on the stupid Wikipedia, but still. Somebody has gone in and actually
changed it.
And said that the M16 was the military adaptation of the AR-15.
The Colt M16A1, the first model that they made. Go.
Gun collector.
Listen to this.
Or a gun aficionado, and you want an AR-15, you can certainly buy one, and you should be able to buy one.
Thank you.
The
Appreciate
problem
you.
is when it gets in the hands of the wrong people.
Originally built for the battlefield, a defining characteristic of the AR-15 is the speed and power of the bullet.
What? Stop. It is a 22. It is a 223. That's the caliber. It is a 223. It's a longer 22. That's all it is. What makes it so powerful is that it is the amount of powder in the cartridge, the velocity at which that bullet travels, and the distance and its maximum effective range. But you don't hear terms like maximum effective range from CNN. What you hear is scary assault style, military style weapon.
Bang, bang, bang.
Keep going.
Now, those are single shots. If I wanted to fire this on full semi-automatic...
Stop. What the hell does that even mean?
Full semi.
There's no such thing.
But he's already firing it that way. That's why it's pow, pow.
There's no such thing.
Instead of da-da-da-da-da-da-da with one trigger pull.
There is no such thing as full semi-auto.
I know.
This is the people. Now,
this isn't bearing good for the Army, my friend.
CNN.
Was a general.
Please, would you call me? Please. I'm not a general. I actually worked for a living in the military. Believe me, I'm not a Navy SEAL. I could get you 1,000 other guys that would never say something as stupid as that. And by the way, when you watch the video of CNN, every time they go full semi-auto, when they're snatching the trigger, they're not hitting anything. Because he even says so. Listen.
All I do is keep firing. Now, I won't probably hit the target when I do this, when we look at the target later on, but I'm going to fire about 5 shots.
Okay.
It's a weapon designed to inflict maximum damage.
Stop.
But
all weapons are designed to inflict maximum damage. That's why it's called a weapon. It's not a feather. This feather is designed to inflict maximum damage.
Maximum tickle.
I mean, it's not like I can look at the weapon and go, I'm going to set for stun. I'm going to set for stun on my AR-15. Come on,
not
man.
Star Trek.
Guys, America,
Phasers
please.
to stun.
They use this type of language intentionally.
For the uneducated.
For the people that don't know exactly. Now, lower left-hand corner, Mr. Producer. This is a gun guy on semi-automatic, okay? AR-15, 30 rounds, pulling the trigger once every time a bullet fires, go. Same weapon with a guy that knows what he's doing. Now, did you hear at the end it started to slow down? That's because his poor little piggy is getting tired yanking that trigger back and forth.
Yep.
Okay? Now, you'll also, if you go and watch that video, he's actually aiming at the target. The two idiots and, the idiot from CNN and the general, they're like dirty, hairy, like, this is going to hurt. And they're not hitting crap. That guy was actually hitting something. Now, we're going to switch over to a bump stock, the infamous bump stock. Here's what a bump stock sounds like in the hands of the same guy a minute ago. That's a pretty good cyclic rate. That's much faster than pulling the trigger. But still, a bump stock is approved and perfectly legal for you to buy today.
Is that the ATF guy doing that in the video?
No, he's a gun owner in Texas.
There was a guy that actually was the guy that wrote the deciding decision on bump stocks that did a video.
Yeah,
and his video was pretty good.
And did you hear him pause?
Yeah.
Why do you think he did that?
To realign.
Realign with the target.
Yeah.
Now the guy from CNN would just go ah, right, and just yank the trigger and hold on for dear life, not hitting anything. This guy was like, brr, 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 usually 3-round bursts. Is what you want to do. Then he pulls out an M4, and this is what it sounds like. That's a fully automatic M4. There's no such thing as a fully automatic AR-15 because if you modify it, it's no longer an AR-15. Just want to point that out, America.
Isn't it illegal too? If you modify it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty sure. Owning an automatic weapon in America is not illegal. I'm going to say that again. Owning an automatic weapon in the United States of America is not against the law. If you own an automatic weapon, a fully automatic weapon in the United States, and you have purchased it illegally, you have not registered it properly, you do not have the right tax stamps, you're not legally allowed to own it, you are in violation of the law. But owning an automatic weapon in the United States is not illegal.
See, when I got into getting guns when I was young, a local dealer here told me it was. That's why I've always believed that it was.
Nope. All you got to do is go pay the right tax stamps, go to the right classes, go to the right...
knew a guy who had a M16 or something like that.
Go to the right database. You can, absolutely.
Sweet. I know what I'm doing.
So again, don't listen to these people on CNN. They don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about rapid-fire magazines. What the hell does that even mean? It means nothing. It's nothing. It means nothing. They talk about military style this and military style that, and that's why we need to ban it. These weapons are designed to inflict maximum damage. Well, yeah. Just like a hammer is designed to maximally drive a nail. They're just playing on your ignorance and fear. Educate yourself. By the way, don't take what we say as gospel. We're humans, okay? But we have common sense. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now, listen. When we come back, but hang on, okay. When we come back, we're going to go around the country. We're going to see what the Parkland shooting has started to launch around the country.
That's frightening.
To include right here in the great state of Alabama. We'll also hear from Brittany Hughes, who basically has one of the best analysis of this entire situation when we come back on Earl and George. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, Time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
Smoother than aged whiskey and tighter than turn 4 at Talladega. Earl and George. By the way, George is the cutest.
Bow, 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 bow. Welcome back to Earl and George, Aged Conservative Talk. Wrapping up hour number 1 here.
Guns.
Man, Rahm Emanuel was right when he said never let a tragedy go to waste. The Democrats are licking this one up.
Yep.
Man, I just want to do this entire bit with Kiss Lick It Up in the background under me as a music bed.
Unfortunately, we cannot pay the license.
That's true. We don't. That's true. Hell with the cannons. No, I'm just kidding. Going around the country, the Parkland shooting has sparked a lot of rage, a lot of anger, a lot of nonsense as well. People are now talking about red flag laws being debated.
Oh, wow.
Red flag laws. Now,
the cops did such a bang-up job with this one.
Yeah, right. I posted on Facebook the other day. The FBI failed. The local police failed. The resource officer failed. And for some reason, my guns are to blame.
Yep.
How is that where we live, America? Apparently. Now, if there are red flags.
This is starting to sound a little bit like the terrorist watch list thing, no-fly list. There
Alaska, red flag laws.
Seriously? In Alaska?
California, minimum age laws.
Well, yeah, I expect California to lose their brain.
Well, they already don't let you buy guns. Now it's 21 to buy a shotgun in California.
Don't they also, weld the magazine into the weapon? That's what a friend of mine said. So
I don't know.
How? You have to take it to a dealer, is what my friend said.
I've never heard this.
He had guns because he lived in Alabama, and when he moved to California, he went to register them like he was supposed to for concealed carry or whatever, and they told him that he couldn't have a
detachable magazine,
that he had to have it welded in place. And he said, well, what do I do when I run out? They said, you have to take it to a dealer so that they can reinstall the bullets for you.
What?
I don't know how they do it. I'm just going on what my buddy said.
You need to look that up because, that's dude. I've never heard that one. Delaware, red flag laws. Florida, oddly enough, wait. 2 Florida legislative committees have approved a $67 million plan to blank. What do you think, guys? What do you think, Mr. Producer? $67 million in Florida, where the shooting took place. $67 million plan to blank. 2 words.
Stricter gun control?
2 words.
Strict background checks?
Armed teachers.
Seriously?
Really?
Nice.
Minimum age law. Rick Scott asked Florida legislature to come up with a plan to raise the minimum age for purchasing a rifle to 21, while they're also trying to arm teachers. Thank you, Florida.
Yep.
Proposed legislation institute mandatory 3-day waiting period. Illinois, bump stock laws, minimum age laws, waiting periods. Maryland, domestic abuser must surrender weapon laws, red flag laws. Minnesota, background checks. New Jersey, background checks, magazine size. New York, background checks, red flag laws, bump stocks. Ohio, background checks, bump stocks. Ban armor-piercing rounds, red flag laws. Oklahoma, ready? Arming teachers.
Sweet.
Also ending licensing requirements, one of the few states to work the decreasing gun control after the Parkland shooting. Rhode Island, red flag laws. South Carolina, background checks. Washington, bump stocks. Washington, D.C., bump stocks. Alabama has 2 opposing bills.
Of course we do.
Representative Mary Moore, Democrat of Birmingham, and I am not reading an article, guys. This is just what I read. I'm just talking. Representative Mary Moore from Birmingham has introduced a law in the floor of the Representative of the House in Alabama to ban all semi-automatic firearms. All semi-automatic firearms. All pistols, rifles.
Here?
All here in Alabama.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
And Representative Will Ainsworth, who was supposed to be on the show with us today, but
didn't come.
Punked out. I'm going to call him out on that. He probably had another. Look, in his defense, he did do the right thing. Introduced a law in Alabama to arm teachers to allow people to carry firearms should they choose to. Now, I can tell you right now that I will be actively working against semi-automatic weapons ban because bans don't work. Drugs, illegals, prostitution, pick one. I mean, it's just, they don't work. And if you, by the stroke of the pen, turn law-abiding citizens into criminals, so be it. The criminals are not going to give you their firearms. Neither are we. So go pound sand. You're not going to turn my country into some third world dictatorship, Mary.
Although you're trying.
Even though you're trying.
Interesting about the Ames guy, right? Is that his last name?
Will Ainsworth.
Yeah, Ainsworth. He didn't vote on the stand your ground law for the churches here. He
abstained.
Yeah.
So earlier in the show, we played upper right-hand corner clip. Go.
This is
what upper right-hand corner. Cut 6. Now play lower left-hand full auto. Go play full auto. Okay. The second one is a M4. That is a fully automatic rifle. Play the upper right-hand corner again for me. That is a fully automatic Glock 9mm.
Wow.
Pistol. With a 50-round drum.
Sounds like something like you'd hear in...
Can you buy one of those? No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Boys in the Hood. That's what it sounds like. Bomb it, Ricky! That's what it was.
Here's the reason why I played that for you. Okay, closing out hour number 1. You and I... Play it again. Upper right-hand corner. You and I can't get that unless we go through intense background checks
and pay a lot of money.
Pay tax stamps, pay all kinds of stuff, get a dealer's license, whatever, waiting periods, and we got to get vetted out the backside. I mean, it's like a colonoscopy to get that gun for you and me. Play it again. But guess what Chicago sounds like every weekend? Guess what the criminals get? Guess what the people who don't care about the laws get? Guess what the people who want to harm you and me get? They get that. Now, can you play semi lower left-hand corner? Please play all the way lower left-hand corner. This is what you and I get.
Yeah.
You and I can legally get that right now. Criminals have this. You and I get this.
Yep.
Is there any other way that I can say it to you, America?
The
and
police
by the way,
also get the full auto.
By the way, the Democrats and these gun grabbers, they want to take away your ability to own any of it. But the criminals still get this. Because you and I are law-abiding citizens. Since when is disarming us going to disarm the bad guys? When are you going to take away our guns and then they're going to be like, ha, 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 stupid. Seriously, guys. We are not allowed to do that. But the criminals don't care. They're the ones already modifying their weapons. They're the ones already doing these. They're the ones shooting up the schools. Come on. Are you kidding me?
By the way, California does have that law.
Well, when I lived there, nobody welded my damn magazines to my gun.
Well, it says that it has to be a fixed magazine. Can't be detachable. And it went into place.
Well, then it's not a magazine.
Right. And it was a law that went into place, I think in 2015. So
when we come back, we'll touch on a couple more gun stories, and then we're going to move on because we've got lots of stories to cover in the second hour. We're going to talk immigration. We're going to talk about poor Judge Roy Moore. I mean, seriously, don't you want to get
poor?
There?
You said poor.
Roy Moore.
Because he's broke.
We'll be right back. It's Earl and George. EarlandGeorge.com. Go out to Facebook, share, like the page. And if you do, we'll send you a signed autograph of someone that's not us. A signed autograph. Signed picture of an autograph with Mr. Producer. It's Earl and George. We'll be right back next hour.
Welcome back to the Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right. A group known especially for their sunspot sleeping, ball chasing, leg rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just look how she struts.
It's like she owns the place.
And see how she curls up and cuddles her person.
The pitch on her purring is simply perfect.
Nice one.
Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown-up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Two old guys that ain't taking their crap no more. You're listening to Earl and George.
Dick's Sporting Goods says that they're no longer sell guns. We talked about this real quick. The CEO of Dick's Sporting Goods, Edward Stack.
Wow.
His name is Stack.
And he's the CEO of Dick's.
George Stephanopoulos. He told him on Wednesday the company's decision to ban, quote, assault-style, end quote, weapons is based on what happened in Florida. Who cares? Moving on. Don't buy your guns at Dick's.
Don't be a dick. Dick's.
Yeah, so the other thing was, what was that tweet that came out that was like, hey, come buy your guns from us because we're not Dick's Sporting Goods or something. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, Delta has, this NRA ban, this boycott's really got me interested because I fly Delta. Can you guess how many, because they gave discounts to NRA members. Who knew?
Yeah, I was going to say, have you been using it?
No. No. In fact, nobody does.
I haven't used it.
Yeah, you know how many people have ever used the NRA discount? How many, Mr. Producer?
Single digit? Tell me it's double digit at least.
Mr. Producer, the number of people that have ever, in the history of the NRA discount in Delta, used that discount. Go.
100.
100. That's pretty low. Really? You think it's only 100?
1,000.
I mean, it's a lot of NRA members, and they fly. I would think the number would be pretty high.
30.
What do you think?
I'd say about, 12,000?
13.
Wow.
Not 1,000.
13 people?
13.
13 people.
13 people have
have
used the NRA discount at Delta Airlines.
Wow.
Delta Airlines has decided that they are no longer going to offer the discount to the NRA members. The state of Georgia says, oh no, we're going to slap you on the wrist to the tune of $4 million.
To which the mayor of Birmingham said, hey, Delta, call me. We can set you up here.
No, we can't, because our airport's the size of a postage stamp.
Right.
So, yeah, you just knock yourself out. By the way, if you look at the top 50 lobbyists in lobbying the United States government, the NRA is not on the list.
Nope. Who was number one? It's the union.
It's the unions. Yay. A round of applause for unions because they suck. Here's another one. Speaking of unions, the teacher union.
Oh, wow.
Randy Werberger, president of the American Federation of Teachers, sent a letter to President Trump expressing opposition to the plan to arm teachers and requesting that Trump meet with the teachers union's leaders, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The American Freedom Federation of Teachers is a national teachers union with about 1.7 million members.
I wonder how many of those are active, like still teaching.
The reason people join the teachers union is because it's a union, and they have got the schools on their side and says, if you don't join the union, you can't teach here.
That's why my brother's not a teacher anymore.
That's why my kids were homeschooled, because you can all suck an egg. Because I hate unions. And Randy, I hate you, because you're an idiot. Here's the breakdown of what the letter said. Students don't want their teachers armed. Since when do we give a rat's behind about what students want when it comes to regards to your teachers? Because if you said, would you like your teacher to know math, and they said yes, you still wouldn't teach them math because you are the people that fight against teacher testing.
This is an interesting article, though, because the guy that they're quoting that said the students wouldn't want it, do you know what age group they talked to?
Nope.
First graders.
Interesting. Randy is a female, by the way. Weingarten. Randy Weingarten, president of the American Federation of Teachers. She goes on to say that through their conversations with students, even those whose parents are gun owners, she found that students prefer security guards to be the only ones armed in schools.
Because they did so well in Florida.
If you conceal a weapon, how do the students know you're armed?
Right.
Are you going to wear a shirt that says, or a button that says, I'm carrying a gun, kids? What an idiotic thing to say. And by the way, why would you go and ask, if you're going to poll anybody about what to do in school, the kids are the last group of people you're going to go ask. So you're using them as a political tool. You hack. Really? You're going to go to students and you're going to say, well, because you guys are so smart and we listen to everything you say about how we do our jobs, we're going to poll you.
Here's some Tide Pods.
Teachers don't want to be armed either. Through conversation with hundreds of educators in Florida and thousands more on a conference called Town Hall, Weingarten claims there is, quote, universal opposition to arming teachers, including among teachers who are veterans and National Rifle Association members. Okay.
Bullcrap.
No, wait. There might be. Wait a minute.
I call bullcrap.
There may be. Let's take her at her word. Ready?
Do we know she identifies as a her?
Hang on. Oh my gosh, you're right. We can't use the proper pronouns, so we're gonna use the pronoun "ni." Ni. 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 Ni believes that there may be hundreds, a universal opposition, and that may be true. Ni Weingarten. But what about the American citizens who do? It doesn't matter if it's near universal. There's going to be one. And that's all it takes, isn't it? Because we're not talking about a unanimous decision that you get to make for everybody else, no matter the consensus. Why? Because we live in a constitutional republic. And if that one teacher decides that they want to enhance their own classroom by using a firearm as a defensive weapon inside the classroom after lockdown, that's their frickin' choice.
Yep.
Not yours. And even if they are veterans, and even if they are members of the NRA, that's fine and well good. But you don't get to make that choice for them because you're not in their classroom every single day protecting those kids. Nee?
Yeah, you're just a union mouthpiece.
The next point, there are too many unanswered questions. Weingarten cautioned Trump to think, who wrote this? Because to think through questions about how guns in classrooms would be kept secure, how the training and certification process would work for teachers, what types of guns would be used, and liability issues in the event that the teacher had to use the gun.
Yeah, see, this is what they were bringing up in the discussions.
Those are all valid questions. I would love to explore those with you, but you won't even let us get to that point.
Yeah.
You won't even let us get to the point of what the certification process would be. Let's determine that. Let's figure out whether a law enforcement officer who only gets about 45 hours of training to do it anyway, is that enough, or should we double it for teachers? Well, let's weld the biometric case inside their metal desk, and the only way to get that done, let's secure it to the stinking floor, mighty. I mean, there are ways to do this. I got an idea. Let's put it in the wall, and only her fingerprint can open that safe. I wonder why it's called a safe. Maybe because inside it'll keep people safe. You don't even let us get to that point, Weingarten. The conversation is shut down because, you're all gun nuts.
Right.
I would love to talk about
No.
liability issues. I would love to talk about what types of firearms teachers could use to defend their classrooms. I would love to talk about the process of certification training for the teachers. I would love to talk about all of these things that you won't even let us talk about.
Yep. Because it's universal that people don't want it.
Exactly. And therefore, the mob rules. Many schools struggle with the properly staffed with nurses, counselors, and resource officers, Weingarten wrote. So how can you justify schools spending money to arm teachers? What?
Wow.
What? You know, the solution? That's the most stupid statement. Do you know their answer to the question?
What's that?
More resource officers.
Yep.
But she just said many schools struggle with the properly staffed. Really? If we're looking for a low-cost, low-impact way of solving the problem, maybe allowing teachers to carry the firearms they have already.
Yep.
Training is something we can talk about. That's going to cost money, but I guarantee you I can find somebody to donate it to the schools. Why? Because they want to keep the schools safe and they want to keep students from getting shot.
They want to end the mass shootings.
You don't think I can't find somebody to train you for free? I've got 100 Green Berets behind me. I've got probably 100 Navy SEALs I could call right now. And I guarantee you I could find somebody to train every single student in my local community right now. If I went to the school and says, I'm going to give you free firearms training, I could have 100 Green Berets. And I dare you to tell them they're not qualified.
Right.
They'll knock you on your liberal Randy button in 2 seconds.
Especially since their whole argument is the only people that should have guns are military and cops.
Great point. Weingarten suggests mental health services, ending cuts to after-school programs, investing in well-trained resource officers, wider background checks on assault weapons bans. Wait a minute! All of that costs money! And you just said in the previous statement, many schools are struggling to get nurses, student resource officers, and counselors. But yet, you just say in the next sentence, look, this is a badly written term paper. Are you kidding me? I don't even... Look, my degree is not in anything special, okay? I'm not a lawyer, but you're kidding me when you say in one paragraph that schools are struggling to hire nurses, and in the next you want to increase money for mental health, increase money for after-school programs, increase money in well-trained resource officers, and increase wider background checks, and then ban weapons. But assault weapons, because we've determined what that means, right? Come on, man.
I wonder if I throw a magazine at somebody's head and hit them, if it becomes an assault magazine at that point.
Did you see the video of the guy? He said the damage caused by a 5.56 to a water bear. He's got a 5-gallon water bucket, and it's got like a bulletproof body armor in front of it. And the video is titled the actual damage of a 5.56 to a water buck. A 5.56 is the type of round,
right?
And then he throws the whole rifle at it. He just throws it at it.
No, I didn't see that.
It's hilarious, man. In conclusion, Randy says, I hope that together we can find common ground on effective, meaningful solutions to protect our children, educators, and schools. Yes, the common ground is some of your... Okay, this is listen to me. I would love to find common ground.
Indeed.
That means some of your suggestions and some of ours. Yep. That you're not willing to listen to any of ours.
That's how the country used to run.
When President Trump says stuff like, look, I'll meet you in the middle, but you got to give up what you want so that we can get a little bit of what we want. And then people say, well, no, it's actually only fair when we go when we want, and screw what you want.
He's an obstructionist.
If you're going to give a little bit and we're going to give a little bit, I will give you well-trained. I will give you freaking more officers. I will give you nurses, counselors. I agree with you there. But you got to give too. And that's armed teachers. Because armed teachers plus trained teachers equals lives saved. And you can't deny it. Because what we've been doing doesn't work. 92% of school shootings, 92% of all shootings, I think, gun-free school zones. Don't trust my word. Go look it up. It's Earl and George. We'll be right back. We'll talk about a teacher in Georgia who had all the problems you can imagine.
Hi, Mom. Is Claire's birthday party today? Me again, Mom. Where did I put my history book? Hi. Sorry, forgot one last thing. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. At school, I start looking out the window, and then I forget what I was supposed to be thinking about. I know it seems like I don't care, but I do. It's just difficult for me. Love you, Mom. Bye.
Join parents and experts at Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life.
Young adults of unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Mama always said that if you keep making that face, it's going to stay that way. You're listening to Earl and George.
You know, one of the biggest arguments against starting teachers is all the stuff that teachers do that we don't like. Well, I don't know, having sex with students and doing all kinds of drugs and whatever, right? And if these are the people that you're bringing into our schools, you've got a bigger problem than guns.
Right.
You know, you can't use that as an excuse. That is beyond your ability to use. Well, you know, I wouldn't want to give our teachers guns. And why are you giving them your kids? Again, I'm not the smartest guy in the room here. I'm simply asking the question. My kids don't go to public schools, and yet I feel like I'm doing more to protect your kids than you are. You expect these teachers to feed your kids and house your kids and damn near clothe your kids, give them a moral education and upbringing, and yet when you try to discipline them, the parents bring you in front of the principal and say, how dare you lay your hand on my kid? Oh, but we want you to lay down your life for them. We equip teachers to teach. We equip coaches to coach. We equip administrators to run the schools. We don't equip any of them to protect your kids. You expect them to lay down their lives? Don't you think they want to go home too? What background checks are you doing on these teachers?
Right.
Let's expand those for mental illness. Stop looking at the kids. The kids have problems enough with no dads.
That's the key
The
problem.
kids have problem enough at home with moms that don't care about whether they do their homework or not. No, I'm not talking about all of them. There are good parents out there. But come on. You can't sit here and look at these teachers and expect them to lay down their lives for your kids when you won't let them do their jobs. And you know what? You pay them peanuts. Why would they lay down their lives for you anyway? I mean, if I was a teacher, I'd be like, screw you. I'm going to go do something else. Something where I couldn't potentially die for your child. Unless you're a member of the military and you know what it means to lay down your life for something more important than yourself. But
it's interesting that the teachers union is actually backing they're wanting to put in safe rooms inside the schools, inside the classrooms.
The little portable bulletproof things that I've seen?
Yeah. The teachers union nationwide is actually backing that.
Yeah, I wonder how much that costs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, because these schools have so much money to throw around.
Right.
I think you should expand. I'm a fan of teacher testing.
Yes.
I think if you're a math teacher, you should be able to pass one of the math tests you give your kids.
And I think you should recertify.
And I think you should recertify. And you know who fought against that?
The teachers
union. Why? Because math is racist.
Yep. I remember when we talked about that.
I'm not making it up. America, we've talked about it. Go look it up for yourself. The reason we don't have teacher testing in some states is because black teachers apparently are bad at math.
Racist.
Sorry. I'm not. I'm just telling you that's what they said, not me. Those are their words. So that's why we don't have teacher testing in most places. And you got teachers, you got coaches molesting kids. You've got teachers sexting. What was a chick out of Florida who was sexting some 8th grader or some nonsense?
Yep.
Having sex with them, buying them weed. Forget background checking me. I've passed a damn background check. How about background checking your teachers? You know, something interesting just crossed my mind.
Uh-oh.
You know, in order for me to carry a concealed weapon in the state of Alabama in the United States of America, I have to pass a background check.
Yep.
I have to go through a NICS database search at the gun store when I buy my firearm.
Yep.
I have to, in most states, be trained, have a certain minimum number of hours. I have to be licensed to carry my firearm. There are places I can't carry my firearm, which, of course, I don't because I'm a law-abiding citizen. There are lots of rules and regulations I have to follow, and I'm disarmed when a police officer pulls me over. I've already been through the background checks you guys say we don't do properly. I wonder if your teachers have.
Doubt it.
Are the kids that are teaching your children, have they gone into a national database? Do they know where they've been, what they've done? Have they done a background check at the level that they've done me?
Or have they only checked Facebook?
Well, let's find out, because a Georgia high school teacher barricaded himself in a classroom Wednesday, fired his gun through the window. Now police say the teacher had multiple incidents of strange behavior, including an attempt to confess to a murder.
Wow. But I bet he's part of the union.
Jesse Davidson, a teacher at Dalton High School, Georgia, wouldn't let students into his classroom at 11:30. When the principal tried to get in using his key, Davidson pushed and closed and kept the door from opening. Then he fired his snub-nosed .38 revolver through a classroom window.
But guns aren't allowed in schools.
Really? What did I say last week? I said, if you think that there aren't already guns in schools, you're lying to yourself. Davidson was charged with aggravated assault, carrying a weapon on school grounds, terroristic threats, reckless conduct, possession of a firearm during a commission of a crime, and disrupting a... What crime?
Shooting, isn't it against the law to...
Yeah, but isn't it carrying a weapon on school grounds?
Yeah.
Isn't that? And then in the commission, and then firing, possession of a firearm. Probably also discharge, because you can't discharge firearms. Right. Dalton High School does not allow guns on campus. Davidson came to Dalton in 2004.
Oh,
how does the police spokesman say Davidson brought the gun on campus, guys?
Concealed carry.
And a computer case. If you don't think there are guns in your kids' schools, you're an idiot.
I went to a high school here locally that had metal detectors, and there were still guns in school.
Sure. Why? Because only the main entrance has metal detectors.
Yep.
I can go to any high school around here and probably walk in from the sports field. Just bebop right on in. But those of us that follow the rules go to the front door and we get buzzed in and they check our names in a database and they look us on camera and blah, blah, blah. But a criminal can just do whatever the heck they want.
Why is that?
Because they don't follow rules,
there you
Earl.
Go.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
well,
yeah.
Glad you told me.
You know the term criminal?
What's that?
You know, it's got the word crime in it.
Oh, that's how you spell it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Davidson has had some troubling incidents over the past 2 years. 2 years.
Red flag.
March 2016, Davidson told police he'd had an internet affair with a woman named Jacqueline Enrique, who he said was his adopted son's girlfriend. Davidson, I got to read that again.
Yeah, for real.
Davidson told police he'd had an internet affair with a woman named Jacqueline Enrique, who he said was his adopted son's girlfriend. Yet he had an internet affair with her. Davidson said he broke the affair off after a few weeks when he told his wife about it. He said Enrique was pregnant with twins at the time and that she was physically abusive to the children after they were born. I'm really lost here. The point of the story is, if you're not doing as thorough a background check on your teachers as you are about a guy buying a gun from a sporting goods store, you're wrong. And I don't want to hear you. Because there are so many things that you are hypocritical about. There are so many things these gun control freaks are lying to you about. Because, cue up cut 4 for me. Because it's okay. It's okay for us to slaughter children in the womb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these teenagers from Parkland are out there like, we're the ones dying. We're the ones dying. At least you were born and able to say that. This is Brittany Hughes from Reality Check, who had, I think this week, one of the most brilliant analysis of this entire situation. Here's Brittany.
It's been 12 days since the horrific school shooting in Parkland that took the lives of 14 high school students and 3 adults. Since then, the amount of misinformation that has been spread about guns, the NRA, the Second Amendment, and gun owners has been staggering. And unfortunately, much of it has come from Parkland survivors themselves. Student David Hogg, for example, has emerged as one of the most highly publicized Insta celebrities since this tragedy. In an interview with MSNBC over the weekend, Hogg falsely said that the NRA sells guns. They don't. That Dana Lash is the CEO of the NRA. She's not. That she owns politicians. She doesn't. And that NRA members are akin to murderers. They aren't.
Murderers.
He blamed Governor Rick Scott for the local law enforcement's inaction before the shooting, but refused to blame the Broward County Sheriff or his deputies, who dropped the ball for years before the tragedy and did exactly nothing while it was happening. Hogg and his fellow students turned anti-gun political props have spread false information about firearms, semi-automatic weapons, NRA political donations, and millions of law-abiding gun owners for nearly 2 solid weeks. And the networks that they have set it on have left those lies completely unchecked. And around and around and around we go. Because we aren't allowed to correct these outright lies and myths or say a single thing critical of these students' positions because they are supposedly traumatized children, because they're innocent kids, because we love and protect our kids, right?
Right.
Really? No, we don't. Since the Parkland shooting, more than 32,000 innocent, defenseless children, just like those Parkland students, have lost their lives in legal abortions across this nation. Their hearts have been injected with poison, their brains sucked out with needles, and their tiny bodies dismembered and tossed into dumpsters. But I guess since we can't parade them in front of a camera and get them to read political stump speeches on CNN, their lives just don't really matter, right? Because while CNN was running around shoving microphones in the faces of every single 16-year-old anti-gun advocate that they could get their hands on, more than 2,500 children were being slaughtered every single day in abortion mills from California to New York City. While MSNBC was busy spouting off made-up rates of fire for AR-15s, 7-month-old babies with fingerprints and nervous systems were having their legs torn off with forceps and getting thrown in trash cans. 14 innocent children died from gun violence on February the 14th, and it's a tragedy. 14 just as innocent children died from abortion in the last 22 minutes, and it's a choice. And we can't criticize blatant misinformation from a high school shooting survivor, even if it's totally wrong and slanders millions of American citizens. But pro-abortion politicians in Congress can turn a blind eye to heartbeats on an ultrasound monitor, or repeatedly ignore sworn testimony from abortion survivors whose bodies were pumped full of poison by a licensed doctor in some taxpayer-funded clinic, and that's okay? It's not okay for the NRA to donate money to politicians who support the Second Amendment, but it's totally fine for Planned Parenthood to give millions to lawmakers who support dismembering infants. Bull. If you want to ban guns to save children, but you're okay with infants' hearts being stopped in their mother's wombs, their little bodies being sucked out with a vacuum, and their tiny organs being chopped up and sent off to labs to be picked apart and played with by scientists, you are a liar of the most vile kind, and I am not surrendering my guns to you.
There is nothing I have to add. Earl?
Well, just since that started, there were 120 babies aborted.
In the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yep. And I got that from numberofabortions.com. Horrible.
Hopefully you have some images from that.
But it's a choice.
Hopefully you understand that since the top of the hour, 2,500 lives have been stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Not 14. Not by some crazed gunman. Not by my AR-15. But by your tax dollars. 2,500 human beings. Brittany Hughes, reality check. Absolutely brilliant analysis. And let me just... You're a liar, and we're not going to take points on our guns from you, and we're not surrendering our guns from you. We're not surrendering our guns to anybody.
Yep.
Not happening. It's Earl and George. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to a pop concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I have a soft pretzel.
Or B, just roll with it?
Justin! OMG! I love you, Justin! I love you!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You know you're in the South when everyone calls you darling or hun or sweetheart and you don't care. You're listening to Aged Conservative Talk. Earl and George.
That's right, sweetheart.
Unless you're Ashley Judd. I don't think I'm ever going to let that go.
Speaking of Ashley Judd and the Me Too movement, Oscar nominees typically receive a goodie bag filled with plane tickets, luxury cosmetics, and high-end gifts.
Mm-hmm.
But hashtag Me Too has ushered in a few new items in the gift bag for Oscar nominees this year.
If you tell me there's a rape whistle in there, I'm going to lose it.
And pepper spray.
Really? Holy crap.
This event is a unique opportunity, quote, for us to lend a helping hand to Me Too with solutions to aim the harassment culture has been pervasive, so notably in the entertainment industry and broader blah, blah, blah. David Nance, the CEO of Security Systems. Let's see. Saber's list of Oscar goodies include a key ring pepper spray, gel pepper spray, 2 key ring body alarms, and a kit that tells if a drink has been drugged.
That's actually pretty good.
Oscar organizers have previously taken legal action against the goodie bags because they come from outside companies that are not endorsed by the organization. The gifts often have combined value as much as $100,000.
Yeah.
Pepper spray manufacturers are getting in on the action.
Of course. Capitalism.
This year's goodie bag also feature a 24-karat gold facial, a diamond necklace, and a 12-day trip to Tanzania.
Just for
what do you
going
mean?
to the
wait,
Oscars.
wait, a gold. Wait,
Facial.
what? A 24-karat gold facial. What,
you know the masks that women put on and they peel them off?
So what does that do?
I guess there's
gold.
I don't know.
Gold is supposedly a really healing property, according to the people out in California. And they're putting it in everything now.
Not everything.
It's going to make gold go up in price.
It's amazing that just when you're an Oscar nominee, you get all this huge, just whatever. This is just stupid. These people, they make money by having guns and sex and violence and TV, and then they want to stand there and talk about guns and sex and violence. And I mean, I don't see Batman giving back any money from his movies. Sorry. Sorry, man. What's that guy's name? Who's that guy? Hey, George Clooney. I don't see George Clooney giving up any money for. He'll sure as hell tell you that the wars in Africa are bad, but you know he's going to tell you and I how to live our lives. But I don't see him giving up any money for the millions that he made off the Batman movies, and I'm sure there was a gun in there.
Yeah, and he actually left his villa in Italy where he had lived for years.
No,
because of immigration.
Not his Italian villa.
Yeah,
he gave up the Italian villa.
He's currently worth over $500 million.
That's indubitably.
And he's got some huge water deal or something that's supposed to make him a billionaire before the year's over.
Great. That means we're going to get more George Clooney
you
telling
know,
us how
he's actually one of the people that's funding the kids' march to leave school. He's one of the ones.
Suspend them all.
They found who the big donors were, and he's one of the big donors.
Of course he is. What does he care?
Oprah Winfrey's one of the other ones.
Oh, not the next president of the United States, Oprah Winfrey. Did you know that she's waiting for God to tell her to run for president?
After she said she doesn't believe in God? Really?
I wonder what she and Joy Behar are going to have the next time they talk on The View. Because Joy Behar says that we're all delusional and stupid because we're Christians. But Oprah's waiting for God to tell her to run for president. Really? Nobody in the Democratic Party, nobody on the left is looking at Oprah going, what did you just say? Because she is Oprah Winfrey. Because you can't mock a black woman. Really? North Texas town removed a 500-pound caged gorilla statue from its city park Monday after receiving complaints that it was blank. Mr. Producer, you're the next contestant on Stupid Talk. Where'd my bell go?
It was over here when we started.
Where'd my bell go? Where's the bell? Oh, it's over there. Okay, hang on. I got it. Mr. Producer, you're the next contestant on Stupid Talk. North Texas town removed a 500-pound caged gorilla statue from its city park Monday after receiving complaints that it was blank.
Racist.
Ding, 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 ding. Give the man a prize.
Wow. The park is racist?
The gorilla is one of several animal statues at the park. The Corsicana City Council announced to Facebook the gorilla would return to the park when weather permits. Earlier in the week, Corsicana Mayor Don Denbo said the city has received a whopping 40 45 complaints about the statue.
Racist.
Was he wearing a hood?
It's been in the statue for it's been in the park for 20 years.
Kind of like all those other statues that have been around for 100 years.
Determine, let's see, offensive or not. Dembo said the city manager and a city council member decided to have the statue removed because they got 45 complaints that it was racist. The empty cage where the gorilla previously resided became a makeshift memorial on Wednesday where residents left balloons, flowers, stuffed toys, and signs that read, Park Monkey for City Mayor, Corsicana, Texas. I want to vote for Park Monkey.
Wow.
Am I the only person that... Hello, I know we're in Texas.
Park Monkey is...
Where's Corsicana?
It's the statue, right?
Park Monkey. I just want to put down my... I might vote in the next election for Park Monkey. Just because I want that on a T-shirt. Can I get T-shirts that say Park Monkey for president? Park Monkey for... what? Park Monkey for president.
We can get them and we can go walk
Damn
down
right
downtown Birmingham and see what happens.
Park Monkey for president. What? Oh, goodness. The gorillas, people didn't like that. You know, it was the other people in Corsicana that said, put the monkey back. It's a park with statues of animals in it. But because 45 people were like, well, that's racist, they had to agree. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba. Several NBA teams during Black History Month played something called, and I quote, so don't sue me, I quote, the Negro National Anthem, end quote. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. It was done at the urging of retired Howard University professor Eugene Williams. Williams, 76 of Clinton, Maryland, spent several months writing to and calling professional and collegiate teams to urge them to play Lift Every Song and Voice. Williams wants the song to be sung during pregame ceremonies and told the AP he won't stop until the song is heard at stadiums across America.
Kind of funny, but they titled the thing wrong. It's actually Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Oh, and sing. I'm sorry. Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of it?
Yeah, well, I brought it up on, again, Wikipedia, because that was the thing that came up first.
Is it any good?
It's got God in it a number of times.
No.
So that's going to be interesting.
No.
Yeah, it says, lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven.
Is it a hymn?
Yeah.
All right, here it is. Here it is. I got it.
Stony the road?
Here it is. Here we go. This is it right here. After the ad, of course. Just wait patiently. I can skip it in 3, 2, and 1. No, I'm just going to bend it.
Are you hooked up?
No, I'm just going to bend it. It's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad. I kind of like that. Now, we're not going to make it the national anthem, okay? just saying, Mr. Williams. I like the song. There's nothing bad in it.
Instrumental.
Yeah, that was the instrumental. I have no problem with it. Some countries have instrumental anthems. That's fine. I mean, at the Olympics, they play an instrumental version of the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
What is it? Some of the words, right? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our... I mean, it's not bad, right?
Yeah, but they skipped the whole first verse, which is talking about God in heaven and...
Yeah, they skipped that part. Kind of like we should skip the third verse of the poem that became the Star Spangled Banner. Is that why this is?
Well,
on Wednesday, the Washington Wizards became the 4th NBA team to play the song at a game. The 4th NBA team. I wonder why they targeted the NBA. Oh, that's right. Sorry, we can't say that part. The song was played during a timeout halfway through the first quarter during the game against the Golden State Warriors. Who, by the way, are a darn good basketball team. Williams, who heard the song played at the Warriors game, I had no idea it would amount to all this. Participation isn't widespread, recruiting NBA teams to play the song, especially during Black History Month. Why does that have to be Black History Month? Wait, I mean, what does the song have to do with Black History Month?
Because it's Black Panther.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a movie.
Yeah.
It's also
It was also a radical group.
A radical political group in the 60s.
That are trying to come back. But
I believe Barack Obama was part of the...
Yeah.
My mission will be complete. I'm done with that.
But I mean, I'm sorry, calling it the Negro anthem.
Doesn't
it kind of? Isn't that a separatist opinion?
Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
Right, but
segregated.
Is it the Negro nation?
Right.
Because we are of a national anthem.
And
it's ours. It's all of ours. It is all of ours. Yours, mine, Mr. Williams, everybody. I'm not taking away from that. That's a beautiful song. I like the music, but really, do we need to separate ourselves by national anthem now? Are we going to have a Caucasian national anthem
No,
and an
that's
Asian
racist.
as an Asian national anthem?
Maybe.
And all these other things that separate us, or can we just come together as Americans and say we have a national anthem?
And to be a Negro, don't you have to be complete, not mixed? Which
Oh,
is
whoa,
getting
whoa,
harder
whoa.
and harder to find nowadays. Just saying.
We'll be
Steph
right
Curry.
back. Yeah, Barack Obama. Speaking of Barack Obama, Michelle says she's probably not going to run for president. I know.
Oh, no, that breaks my heart.
I know. When we come back, we'll talk about that, and Judge Roy Moore needs your cash. It's Earl and George. We'll be right back.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn earrings today.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Michaela's got like the best earrings.
Sarah, buckle up.
I wish my name was Michaela.
We're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
It can be tough getting through to kids, but it's your job to make sure they're wearing your seatbelts. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Hi, Mom. Is Claire's birthday party today? Me again, Mom. Where did I put my history book? Hi. Sorry, forgot one last thing. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. At school, I start looking out the window, and then I forget what I was supposed to be thinking about. I know it seems like I don't care, but I do. It's just difficult for me. Love you, Mom. Bye.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Mama always said that if you keep making that face, it's going to stay that way. You're listening to Earl and George.
The North Korean intro. She said Earl is the smart one. Doggone right. Hey, look, if I said to you, America, or if Earl said that our mission is to make little copies of ourselves that will take over the future, would you think we were a little bit insane?
Definitely.
Like, we do this show to turn you and your children into me. When you say that would be kind of out there?
Yep.
I mean, it's okay for Michelle Obama. Former First Lady Michelle Obama seems to believe that her time in this life is better served in attempting to replicate thousands of copies of herself in America's youth rather than running for the highest office in the land. So she's not going to run for president, but she wants to actively turn our children into little copies of her.
Kind of like the Hitler Youth.
Oh, man.
Just
I wasn't going to go that far, but dang.
throwing it out there.
Wow. Quote, "I'm tired of watching us do the same old thing and expect different results," Obama said during the event. "I'm so optimistic about the future. There's some bright young people out there doing some amazing things." I know that doesn't sound like Michelle Obama, but that's what I hear.
It's close to it.
That's what I hear. "That's why I'm not going to run for president. Because," this is a quote now, "I think it's a better investment to invest in creating thousands of me's," end quote.
Wow. This is the same
That's
lady
the
that
definition of mini-me's.
the same lady that said she wasn't proud of her country.
How narcissistic is Michelle Obama? You won't hear that. Nobody's going to pick up on this. Nobody's going to post this in the mainstream media. Nobody's going to talk about
Of course
it.
not, because she's their
Black
reigning
woman. Because she's a black woman.
Mhm.
You can't attack a black woman. That rhymes.
Although,
Attack a black
there's
woman?
pictures of her womanhood being in question.
No, I'm not going to go down that road. Those are don't even. We're not even going down that road. I find her kind of attractive. Does that make me gay?
No, she's an attractive woman.
She is.
I'm just joking around about those pictures, but
she's also very well educated, and
she's too big. She's too big boned.
She's
for
tall.
Me.
She's tall.
And she looks like a damn linebacker.
Ding ding ding, making up noise so he can't stop talking. You done now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Dodge that lawsuit. My goodness.
Wait. Did you?
Oh, what's up? He's trying to find a sound effect.
Did you dodge a bullet?
Dodge a bullet. Dodge that bullet.
Hike.
But if you and I said something like that on a national platform, they would be talking about it for. Imagine if Donald Trump was out there going,
I'm gonna make
thousands of me's.
That would be hilarious. I can see him doing it.
Seriously. If he said something like that,
he's a dictator.
He would be going crazy. Oh man, Tucker Carlson said that he should be impeached for what he said about the gun conversation.
Oh,
he was like, imagine if Obama had said that, we'd be calling for his impeachment. No, some of us wouldn't because we know he doesn't have the power to make law. However, he violates the presidential authority of executive action. We've seen that through DACA. So, well, that would I'd be scared. But if Trump says he's going to do some nonsense about gun confiscation, I'm going to fight against him because that's who we are. I'm not. No, sir. You're not going to take away due process. You can't. Other than through law, and Congress is not going to pass something that takes away people's due process.
I don't know.
Now,
I never thought I'd be forced to get health insurance either.
Speaking of, that goes away next year. They repealed that. They repealed that in 2019. That leg of Obamacare. When you really think Obamacare is going to start failing now, just wait till that happens. And then speaking of DACA, speaking of all of this immigration stuff, there was some sanctuary city news that happened this week.
Yeah.
When the mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf, it's two A's. Is it Schaaf or is it Schaaf?
Schaaf.
Schaaf. Shit. How do you say that name? Carefully.
Shannara.
Shannara. Libby Schaaf said on Saturday she alerted all of the illegal immigrants of Oakland, California of an upcoming ICE raid.
Wow.
Stating, quote, her intention in publicizing the information was not to cause a panic among residents, but to protect them. These are her words. And adding that the police are prohibited from cooperating with federal immigration officials. California became a, quote, sanctuary state on January 1st. By the way, there's no such thing.
No, you can't circumvent federal law.
Quote, I've been doing this for 34 years, and this is a whole new... Oh, that's the wrong guy. Hang on. I got to get to her comments. Here we go. Okay, she said, quote, I do not regret sharing this information. It is Oakland's legal right to be a sanctuary city, and we have not broken any laws. We believe our community is safer when families stay together, end quote. Show me that right.
Show me where they haven't broken any laws.
Show me that. Can you produce a document that says you have a legal right to be so-called sanctuary city?
They always quote the preamble about...
the preamble is not the law.
But that's what they always quote in instances like this. They say that we have the right to happiness and pursuit of happiness.
That's one of the constitutional amendments I would add at a Article 5 convention is that you actually have to quote the articles of the Constitution, not the preamble.
Right.
By the way, that's the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Not the Constitution.
Which has nothing to do with our law. But
exactly.
anyway.
It's not law.
But that's how they got health care passed. But anyway.
The person that was, let's see, who is
she a Republican?
She's a Democrat.
No.
You just think the Oakland, California. By the way, sanctuary cities are not what most people think. Sanctuary cities mean that if an illegal immigrant is a victim of a crime, they can report the crime to the police. So, for example, if a woman who is here illegally in the United States, she is not supposed to be here, she's broken the laws of our country, if she is raped, God forbid, she must feel as though she can go to the police and report that crime. I wholeheartedly agree that even though she is here illegally, she needs to feel safe enough to report the crime to the police.
But don't we already have that?
That is what an actual sanctuary city is. But they've been told that as soon as they go to report the crime to the police, that they're going to be deported. Guess who told them that?
President Johnson.
The Democrats. The Democrats are the ones perpetuating this fear that you cannot report a crime. If you are working through the legal status, if you're working through those things, and you're still here illegally, you can report a crime. You don't have to live in fear.
Because, newsflash, the cops are only going to be investigating that crime.
Thank you. 150 illegal immigrants were arrested as of the raid through ICE. I wanted to touch on this. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, it now looks like she may be in violation of law by alerting the people of the upcoming raid, sheltering and the perpetrator after they have committed the crime with knowledge of the crime is a crime.
What's that called?
It's all aiding and abetting.
Yep.
This also puts illegals above officers and makes the job of law enforcement harder and more dangerous. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mayor of Oakland. You need to be in prison. Earl and George, when we come back, we'll talk about poor Alabama Roy Moore. We'll also talk about Elton John, and we might get into some douche of the week news when we come back. It's Earl and George.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to a pop concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I'll have a soft pretzel.
Or B, just roll with it?
Justin! OMG! I love you, Justin! I love you!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You know you're in the South when everyone calls you darling or hun or sweetheart and you don't care. You're listening to Aged Conservative Talk. Earl
By the
and
way,
George is the cute one.
Man, are you okay in there?
No, man, I'm Nick fitting really bad. I need some cigarettes pretty bad.
That is not an endorsement of smoking or the...
No,
we are not
smoking is
Quit smoking.
Smoking is very bad for you people. Don't
See
do
what
it.
happens, kids?
We're not
Say
sponsored
no.
by R.J. Reynolds.
Say no to nicotine because it totally messes up your radio show. See, kids, don't do drugs. Speaking of don't do drugs, city leaders suspended Mississippi police officer this week after footage surfaced of what appeared to be smoking some type of drug. Lumberton Police Chief Shane Flint has been suspended with pay with regard to the incident. Flint in the video has been puffing on a pipe and boasting, "I'm only chief of police in Lumberton that likes to smoke weed."
He likes to chief.
Wow.
It's like how they say, yeah, I know, but the article says some type of drug, even though he's on the video
Right.
going, "I like weed. 'Cause I smoke drugs."
Because that's a
man."
legal term. They can't say it.
But he's been busted. He's been caught. And he writes an impassioned letter to the people of Lumberton and his bosses. And this is what he says. "Please know that one video, one mistake, does not define the person I am, my moral or ethical values. I made a huge mistake. First of all, I trusted the wrong person, welcomed them in my personal home. They recorded me in a vulnerable state, and they planned every minute of it. This person being my wife.
Holy crap.
Who was obviously very vindictive.
Of course.
I love serving the town of Lumberton. The police there are like family to me. It saddens my heart that I've disappointed many as well as myself.
Has he not seen the video of the D.C. mayor?
Just a thought. Where would we all be if we all had hidden cameras in our home? What would our neighbors, preachers, co-workers, friends think of our conversations? There is no excuse. I pray you all find it in your hearts to show me grace and know that I'm truly sorry for this incident.
I'd stay in the confessional if there was a camera in my house.
That's why I'm not Catholic. No, sir. Nope, you're the police chief. You have a higher standard. You were elected, I don't know, whatever. Your job is to be the highest ranking law enforcement officer in your city. You failed. Bye. Bye now. Sorry. Bye. I have nothing. I'm not a saint by any means, but I'm also not the police chief.
Well, now he'll have plenty of time to toke up. So
that's right.
In the employment line.
In other news, former Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore says his financial resources have been depleted and is making a public plea to help fight a civil suit brought by a woman who accused him of molesting her as a teen. Quote, I now face another vicious attack from lawyers in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco who have hired one of the biggest firms in Birmingham, Alabama, to bring another legal action against me and ensure that I never fight again.
I'm okay with that.
Yep, me too. Okay, Elton John. Elton John stormed off stage during this Thursday night's show in Las Vegas.
It was beautiful.
Saturday Night's All Right for Fightin' was the song he was performing, and typically John invites the front row of concert goers, because they paid the most stinking money to be there, up on stage with the Prince. No, he's a knight, isn't he?
Yes.
Who cares?
Sir.
I was about to say princess.
Sir Elton. No.
However,
no.
What?
Don't call him princess.
What?
I'm just saying.
He's the queen?
Oh! Yeah, there you go.
Just last month, fans threw Mardi Gras beads at Elton John. One hit him in the face, and he walked off stage, upset, came back, finished the set. This time, someone actually had the unmitigated gall to touch Her Highness while in the middle of the song. She said, F you to somebody, and, he said, F you, you effed up, and off the stage he goes, ending the concert in the middle of the thing. And he
didn't end the concert. Because he came back and
he did. He came back.
Yeah, He came back and sang "Circle of Life" from Lion King.
Because it's the circle of life,
which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and we got to do our douche. Do you have any douche nominees there, Mr. Producer?
What's that guy right here?
No, we don't talk about him.
Okay.
We talk about her. He's our intern.
Can he be my douche of the week?
Sure. Sean Yoder, host of 0 to 60. He was just out at the racetrack.
Yay!
Find it on your
Glad I came by.
soon to be find it on your local ESPN stations. No, seriously. Do you have any douche of the week?
No,
of course.
No.
Of course not. Thank you for being actively engaged in the show.
I'll have to.
I got the president.
President of the United States for his foot and mouth comments about gun confiscation.
Yep.
It's a toss-up because all of these gun people are really like the whole rapid fire magazine and
assault magazine.
Assault. I mean, there's just what you want to say something. We have like 1 minute. What do you want to say? Put our guest on the mic there. What's up?
How about the young lady that was on? I can't remember if it's CNN or Fox that wanted to abolish man.
Men?
He wanted.
men.
She wanted to abolish man, so she didn't want anything to refer to man.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
No.
Did you not? You didn't see that news?
I saw it.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was.
Wow.
It was crazy talk.
Okay. Well, that's pretty crazy talk. I'm going to have to go with the President of the United States. I'm going to have to go with this one. Congratulations, Donald J. Trump, our douche of the week. And I never thought you would be in the Douche Hall of Fame with. I never thought you would get that.
Have we not nominated him once before?
No, I believe we've nominated, but he didn't win. But
Right.
this week, because of his gun confiscation conversation and his comments, congratulations, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, for being an idiot. You're not only going to get a nice trophy from the Earl and George show, you're also going to get a 24-karat gold copy of federal law, so you can read it and understand what due process is.
And we're going to give you a all expenses paid trip to one of those crap hole countries.
One of those crap hole. No, we want to keep him here. He's doing a good job. Mr. President, please stick to tweeting, where we limit your comments
Indeed.
to 140 characters, which are much funnier to read on the radio. than video. Mr. Producer, thank you so much, Earl.
Yes, love you, Mama.
Thank you for coming in today. I had a great time. Thank you guys across the country. We'll see you next week, Houston. We'll see you next week, Alaska. We'll see you next week all from sea to shining sea. It's Earl and George. Get out there and do something nice for someone you don't know. We'll catch you next week right here, 12 o'clock Central, earlandgeorge.com. Bye, everybody. Peace.